little Zach Shaw, who last week was tragically crushed and eaten by python.
The snake grabbed onto the top of the head and skull. After clamping onto the child's head, the snake's body then coiled around the child's torso.
It's just like taking a big crank strap and wrapping it around you with your arms like this and just cranking it a little more every time you take a breath out.
Known or unknown, once you're in the Amazon, forget about the familiar. Mythical legends, monstrous serpents, and unexpected encounters with exotic entities. Get ready to explore the secrets still concealed in the Amazon. Here's a tale that'll make you think twice about biting off more than you can chew. In Kruger National Park, an incredible video captured the moment a python found itself in a bit of a bind. Intent on making a meal out of a duiker, this ambitious serpent soon realized it had bitten off more than it could swallow. As the python coiled around its prey, the duiker's horns unexpectedly pricked its skin, leaving it in a struggle for survival. What happened next is a bit of a mystery, but let's just hope this python made it out of this situation. So, next time you're eyeing a big meal, remember the fate of the python and think twice before you take a bite. Gigantic anaconda. From the heart of the Amazon rainforest, scientists have released jaw-dropping footage of a colossal snake slithering in the waters. A new species of anaconda, potentially the largest snake ever recorded. A team from the University of Queensland discovered this giant while they were searching for other reptiles. It was a female anaconda stretching over 20 feet long. Watching the footage, it was hard to believe that the man swimming around was looking like a dwarf. Despite their monstrous appearance, anacondas are non-venomous, but instead, they rely on their incredible strength to overcome their prey with their powerful coils. So here's some advice for you. Never go close to such beasts, especially when they're hungry. Resting beast.
The coolest thing ever.
A daring wildlife explorer relying just on his trusty GPS to navigate the forest ventured into the Amazon. Suddenly, a sound in the distance grabbed his attention. He inspected it closely and revealed a breathtaking sight. A massive green anaconda was lounging in the flowing waters. This formidable serpent was almost a whopping 5 meters in length. After that, the explorer returned to grab the camera and the rest of the crew. But by the time they returned, the creature was gone into the deep woods. To them, better luck next time. Double trouble. A group of locals had heard rumors of a giant anaconda in their forests, and they went out to check it out. And you know what? They were freaked out because they had spotted it. It was even bigger than anything anyone had ever seen before. It was found lifeless, with its body all puffed up. Thinking it might have eaten some giant animal, they decided to open it up. Yet instead of a calf or goat, what they found sent shockwaves through the crowd. Another anaconda, almost the same size, was found inside the belly of the first one. The culprit might have eaten its fellow serpent, yet it didn't digest properly, causing the anaconda to take its last breath with its last meal. Warani warriors.
Okay, I can see it. Just its head. It is absolutely enormous.
Let me introduce you to the fearless warriors of Ecuador, the Warani warriors. Now, these weren't any average tribe. Nope, they've got a special bond with the creatures of the Amazon, especially the mighty anaconda.
Okay, I think it's coming.
While most of us would run for the hills at the sight of such a giant snake, these warriors treat it like royalty, considering it sacred and full of spiritual power. For them, the rivers and trees are more than just scenery, they're life itself. And get this, they even caught one of the world's largest anaconda, measuring a whopping 17 feet long. But here's the best thing. They didn't do it for fame or glory. No, They did it to help biologists study the impact of oil exploration on wildlife. Failed python. A news reporter near the Amazon basin spotted something that stopped him frozen in his tracks. A massive python was lounging by the stream, with a belly so big it looked like it was about to burst. Now, this wasn't your average python. Nope, this one's just polished off a hearty meal, and its belly was ballooned to prove it. But instead of giving the giant snake its space, our adventurous reporter decided to poke and prod it with a stick, even daring to touch its swollen belly to find out what was inside of it. He was indeed living life on the edge. Thankfully, this python had just had its lunch, or things could have taken a much different turn for our daring reporter. Fish invasion. A group of fishermen were out on the waters when suddenly fish invaded them. And I'm talking lots of them, just started leaping out of the water left and right as if they'd grown wings instead of fins. Now, you might think these fishermen were in for a big haul, but they didn't even need a net to catch them. How did this all happen? Well, you see, these fish were scared of the flashlights and their presence in the waters. So if you're looking for an easy catch like this, just grab a flashlight, start banging on the boat, and watch the show unfold before your eyes. Swarm encounter. A lone boater was paddling smoothly along the upper Waccamaw in Carolina and was soaked in nature. Little did he know he was about to have a run-in with one of the swarm's stealthiest predators. As he glided through the water, suddenly a hidden alligator made its move without warning and rushed towards the boater at alarming speed. The kayak overturned, sending the man into the murky depths below. But fear not, our paddler managed to right himself and waited out the creature's presence. With nerves of steel, he turned his kayak and paddled swiftly back to safety, and he surely had a tale of adventure to share with all who would listen. Beached Titan. On the shores of the northern Amazon in Brazil, some visitors, while exploring the beach, witnessed a bizarre sight. An 11-meter humpback whale was stranded 15 meters from the ocean. But the real question is, how did this humongous creature end like this? A bunch of curious people had gathered around the mammal. Some of them were recording this creature. It was pretty sad to see such a huge creature in trouble. Well, according to experts, the whale might have been brought ashore by the recent stormy weather. Sometimes, nature makes us think about how powerful and harsh it can be. Remote village. A modern-day explorer decided to visit the world's most remote tribe. As he set foot in this remote corner of the earth, he was met not with open arms, but with hostility. The tribe, cut off from the outside world, greeted him with fierce shouts and aggressive gestures. And even worse, their language was a mystery to him. But with a gesture of goodwill, he presented them with a gift, a mighty fish. Slowly, the tension eased, and the tribe's demeanor shifted, and he was welcomed by them to visit their area. Let's just hope the rest of the visit went well. Scary stalking.
No!
Exploring the wilderness in Provo's Lake Canyon got a lot more than just a casual hike when the man spotted something that froze him. Turns out he was too close to the cougar babies, and Mama Cougar was not too pleased to see him. Her eyes locked on him like a predator sizing up its prey. With nerves of steel, the hiker tried to scare the cougar away.
Go away! Go away!
But it was a standoff that'll leave you on the edge. For about 6 minutes, the cougar stalked him relentlessly, and the camera captured every moment. He even growled to scare her off, but she continued stalking him. And then, after 6 long minutes when he was out of the territory, it finally backed off. Moral of the story? Never mess with Mama Cougar. burning river. In the footage, some men could be seen exploring the Condamine River on a boat when one of them decided to put the river on fire. While sitting on the boat, he lit the water beneath them, and all of a sudden, it turned into a scene from a disaster movie. In no time, the river became a burning inferno, with flames towering up to the boat. But how did this happen? Well, it turned out it wasn't just any fire, it was the methane that was caused by the fracking site just a kilometer away. It was a reminder that our human activities can even turn a river into a flammable site. Abandoned airplane.
What? How do you even get in?
Some explorers in the woods came across a pretty unusual sight. A jumbo jet that had been abandoned for ages. And get this, there was a man living inside the thing.
Hi. Hey. Nice to see you, man.
As they got closer, they could see that he turned it into a living space with all sorts of unexpected things, like a washer and a custom TV setup.
Oh my god.
The guy told them a pretty interesting story about how he'd moved the plane from somewhere nearby and then rebuilt it piece by piece.
The wings came up separately, and you can see a cut line and a stream of non-native bolts.
They even climbed up on the roof and felt the thrill of standing on top this massive jet. It was a pretty sweet sight, and it just goes to show how one person's creativity can shine through, even in the middle of nowhere. Slothful encounter.
Yeah. I just clocked it straight in the face.
A boy was zipping through the rainforest of Costa Rica, and while he was feeling the wind in his hair, the least expected happened. He came face to face with an unusual obstacle. A sloth. Yep, you heard me right. A sloth was chilling on the zipline like it was no big deal. Now, I don't know about you, but that was one way to slow down a zipline adventure. Well, the boy patiently waited for around 15 minutes, giving the sloth its sweet time to move on out of the way before he could continue his ride. What a slothful encounter in the forest! Bigfoot skull.
Yeah, put that down.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear.
These people were searching the woods of Canada, hoping to find a Sasquatch. And although they didn't find that, something far more interesting was discovered that day. One of them noticed something that looked like a skull, and at first, they thought it was probably just a bear. But then they took a closer look and realized that it was not a bear skull at all.
Yeah, put that down.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear.
But was a primate skull. And not just any primate, they speculated it could be a Sasquatch skull. They were like, what to do next? Then, they eventually marked the place and took it back with them for the scientists to research. What do you think it was? Tell me in the comments section. Angry Croc. A brave zookeeper decided to play a little game with a massive crocodile. Armed with nothing but a stick, he started splashing the water, hoping to summon the mighty reptile. Now, you might think he was just having a bit of fun, but let me tell you, when these crocs see the water splashing, they think it's dinner time. But this time, it wasn't a meal. It was a trick to lure him, and that crocodile got pissed off, and we could practically see the steam coming out from its nostrils. Thankfully, he had some skills up his sleeves, or things could have gone south real quick. Fierce battle. Get ready for an amazing story that will make your heart race and leave you in awe of the sheer power of nature. A brave wildlife biologist travels through the wildlands of Brazil's Pantanal region. As she made her way along the riverbank, she spotted a majestic jaguar with mesmerizing spots. But that jaguar wasn't alone. It was in a fierce battle with a caiman. Both of the predators were equal in size, but the jaguar proved he was the only one out there. Mirror people. Let's explore a world where art and nature collide in the most mysterious of ways. No, these are not what you're thinking. These are the sculptures designed and placed by an artist. These eerie sculptures seem to blend seamlessly into their surroundings, almost like ghosts haunting the forests. It was enough to confuse any visitor. The artist himself described these figures as a glimpse into the past, representing the people and communities that once roamed these lands. But here's the real kicker. These sculptures weren't just art pieces. They showed us that we're not so separate from the natural world after all. Mythical monster.
What the f?
Two buddies were just enjoying their time on a kayak ride when they noticed something strange near them. Now, being the savvy boaters they are, they decided to keep their distance just in case. Suddenly, without warning, the bubbling water erupted in a massive splash, leaving them shaking in their boots. What just happened there? Well, an exact explanation never came forward, but some said it could be the entrapped gas below the surface that just released, while some believed it was the river monster. So, what do you think lurks beneath the surface? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Mutant pig. While strolling through Brazil, some friends stumbled upon what appeared to be a mutant pig creature. Now, I know what you're thinking. What in the world? But there it was, just chilling in the mud like it was no big deal. There was even some sort of stamp mark on the body, which gave a clue that it could be done by humans. This made the case even more suspicious. After the clip went viral, people were throwing their theories, like it could be a creature from another dimension, or perhaps a failed lab experiment. So what was it really? A genetic anomaly? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Strange salmon. A man found a fish like no other. This one had got something truly bizarre going on. Alphabets scribbled all over it in some strange pattern. Now, call me old-fashioned, but that was definitely a fishy situation. You see, these critters usually hang out in the tributaries of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. They are known as anadromous, meaning they're born in fresh water, head out to sea, then come back again. But the question is, who in their right mind would go tagging fish with letters while they're still swimming around? Some rumors of scientific experiments came forward after this video, but nothing was ever proven. The last survivor. In 2018, the Brazilian government unveiled footage of an isolated indigenous man, a lone figure they've been monitoring for a long time and was known as the Man of the Hole. For over 2 decades, he was the subject of fascination and wonder, believed to be the last survivor of his tribe. But how did he survive this long? Well, in the video, he could be seen skillfully chopping down a tree, proof of his self-sufficiency and adaptability. So it can be assumed that he survived on his own, in the dense forests. Pink dolphin. A diver was exploring the Amazon River when, all of a sudden, he was welcomed by a group of one of the most elusive creatures of the Amazon River, the pink dolphins. These majestic creatures are known for their unique pink hue and friendly behavior toward humans, and they welcomed this diver with open fins. And in this footage, their playful nature was on full display as they circled the camera, posing for the perfect underwater selfie. In this encounter, the pink dolphins remind us of the magic that lies beneath the surface of our world. River monster. Bizarre footage of a massive, strange serpentine creature was captured on the Yangtze River that sent shockwaves worldwide. This strange creature was slithering over the murky waters, and the onlookers were baffled. They were like, what the hell was that? People have divided thoughts on this. Some speculated it was none other than a massive tigerfish, while most of the witnesses insisted it wasn't a tigerfish, but an ancient river monster. And experts? Well, they were speechless on this encounter. What are your thoughts on this river monster? Share them in the comments section. Meditating reptile. Some guys out by the river spotted an alligator cruising along in the most peculiar manner.
What's causing this?
Typically, these reptiles keep just their heads above water, but not this one. Nope, it had got its head and tail both poked out. Now, speculation ran wild. Was it the shallow waters, or maybe a monster pulling it down? Hey, who knows? Maybe this gator was just meditating. After all, variety is the spice of life, even for alligators. Ribojo. Some wildlife explorers were out on the water, just cruising along and enjoying the breeze, when suddenly they spotted something strange. A series of splashes big enough to make you wonder if a croc or anaconda was trailing under their boat. But hold on a minute, it's not what you think. The locals have a name for this peculiar phenomenon. They call it ribojo. It happens when air gets trapped under rocks below the water's surface, creating massive bubbles when they're covered by water. But here it got interesting, as these bubbles didn't just look like air pockets. They seemed to dance and swirl, almost like a mysterious creature lurking beneath the waves. So, what was going on down there? Share your thoughts about it in the comments. River legend.
We don't know what this is, but it is very, very large.
A couple of friends were out fishing on the Missouri River when suddenly they spotted something peculiar, a massive creature lurking beneath those murky waters. Now at first they thought it was just a big catfish or something, but as they got closer, they realized this thing was like nothing they'd ever seen before. From the alleged Loch Ness Monster to the underwater giant, the internet had been buzzing since the video went viral, with people divided on what exactly they were looking at. Although the mystery remains unanswered, one thing's for sure. Whatever it was, it's got everyone scratching their heads. Rare swim.
A member of our team said, "Oh my God, look, it's a caiman." As we turned around and got closer, I said, "Oh my God, it's a cat."
On a leisurely morning boat ride to the southern Amazon in Brazil, some wildlife experts were chilling on the river when suddenly they spotted something that had them frozen in their tracks. At first, they thought it was a crocodile lurking in the water, but as they got closer, they realized it was something even more incredible, a black jaguar. Now, you don't see these beauties every day. They're one of the rarest animals in the Amazon, with only about 600 left in the world. It was like spotting a needle in a haystack. But hey, maybe that jaguar knew exactly what it was doing when it decided to grace them with its presence. Smart move, buddy. Mata Mata.
Mata Mata.
While cruising along the riverbank, some wildlife enthusiasts spotted something truly remarkable. It was none other than the elusive Mata Mata turtle, blending seamlessly into its surroundings like a ninja in the shadows. Now, this wasn't your average turtle. No, these bad boys can grow up to a whopping 18 inches long and weigh a hefty 27 pounds. But it's not just their size that's impressive. With heads and necks adorned with all sorts of funky protrusions and skin fringes, they're like the rock stars of the turtle world. And thanks to their camouflage and protective shells, they don't have to worry too much about predators. Sometimes blending in is the best defense, right? The corpse flower.
And here it is. Wow! Look at the size of this flower.
The wild world never ceases to amaze us. Just like this one time when a man spotted a peculiar flower, and it wasn't any average bloom. It was the biggest flower he had ever seen. With its 5 vibrant orange petals, it was like a burst of sunshine in the forest.
You can see it consists of 5 petals.
But here's where things get a little weird. Inside, it was covered in hairs that resembled an animal's corpse. And oh boy, it packed a punch in the smell department. But here's the catch. This big beauty only blooms for about 6 to 7 days before calling it quits. Oh, and did I mention, it's a parasite too, with no leaves to call its own. Now that's what I call a flower with some attitude. Mygalomorph spider. A team of scientists from the University of Michigan were trekking through the dense jungle of northern Peru. While surveying the area, they came across a scene straight out of a horror movie. A massive Mygalomorph spider, also known as a tarantula, was dragging a young opossum along the forest floor. Now, I don't know about you, but the thought of a spider snacking on an opossum? and that gave me the scare of my life. But hey, that was just another day in the wild world of the Amazon, where even the smallest critters can be the fiercest predators. Queen lily pads.
The poshest plant in the pond is clearly Victoria amazonica.
One of the many impressive inhabitants of the Amazon is the Victoria amazonica. This plant is no ordinary one. It's a real heavyweight champ with leaves wider than a truck and tough as nails.
Leaves on this water lily can grow up to 3 meters across. That's as wide as a grizzly bear is tall.
And guess what? It can support a 10-year-old without breaking a sweat. And don't even get me started on the flowers. They're like the hottest spot in town for beetles. Their scent is so sweet, it'll make the best chef's cookies jealous. So if you're out exploring, keep an eye out for the ultimate VIP of lily pads, the one and only Victoria amazonica. Missing persons. A man was exploring the woods of Long Island, but little did he know he was about to witness something out of a horror flick. As he trekked deeper into the forest, his eyes widened in disbelief at the scene before him. Real missing persons posters were plastered on trees. Cans of food were scattered about, and to top it all off, a makeshift cage-like structure was there in the shadows. Now, I don't know about you, but that was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine, mine included. The man quickly whipped out his phone to capture the eerie sight before going back to safety. The authorities are still searching for the culprit behind all of this, and haven't gotten any clues as of yet. Goliath spider. Massive is a small word for this bad boy of the forest that will definitely trigger your arachnophobia. Meet the Goliath bird-eating spider. But the name is a bit misleading because it mainly chows down on insects, not birds. But anyway, this spider is seriously no joke, with legs almost a foot long. Even this creepy crawler has got its own problems though. It's a big target for predators, and it's not that great at hiding. Instead, the Goliath bird eater relies on sensing vibrations to detect danger. When threatened by a coati, it shows off its fangs. But when that doesn't work, it busts out its secret weapon, tiny stinging hairs that it flicks at the predator, irritating it. It's like the spider's own defense system. And trust me, it's pretty effective. Breathing earth.
We had explosive cyclogenesis, a very strong storm, rapidly intensifying and produced really strong wind gusts.
A group of friends were wandering through the forest when suddenly they stumbled upon what seemed like breathing earth. But hold on, because this wasn't a mythical tree coming to life. It was just Mother Nature showing off her wild side. This tree in Quebec went through some crazy winds. The wind pulled at the tree, making it move as if it was breathing. And down below, in the dirt and roots, there was this whole world where everything's connected and working together. It's kind of like a big orchestra playing a symphony. So the next time you see the earth seemingly breathing, remember, it's just nature doing her thing. Curious otters. This caiman minding its own business was spotted by a bunch of curious otters, who quickly decided to investigate the tiny snouted reptile. One of the otters got closer, and the others followed his lead. As they got closer, the caiman started getting annoyed with their nosiness, so it decided to say goodbye to this unexpected gathering and slipped away into the water. It looks as if this member of Alligatoridae was not in the mood to strike. Otherwise, it might have taught a good lesson to those who messed with its peace. Amazon survivors.
4 children found alive after 40 days deep in the Amazon jungle.
Where there's life, there's hope. And boy, did that prove true in Colombia's Amazon jungle. In 2023, 4 siblings were discovered safe after spending a challenging 40 days in the wilderness. It all began with an aircraft accident. The Colombian army and local indigenous people spared no effort in their search, battling through dense jungle and treacherous terrain. Finally, their resilience paid off when the children were spotted less than 2 miles from the crash site. They might have been weak, but they didn't give up. They show that no matter what happens, people can still win. Boiling River. Let me tell you now about the Boiling River, a legend right in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. People say this river's got some serious charm, not just spiritually, but in terms of heat too. It's so scorching that if you try and take a dip, you'll get burns or even worse. I'm talking boiling hot, like you could brew yourself a cup of tea or whip up some breakfast with this stuff. Crazy, right? But wait, despite its heat, the locals treat it like a sacred treasure. They believe it has healing properties, and they're all about protecting it. So, moral of the story? Treat nature right, and even the hottest river can become your best bud. Lone survivors. In 2022, two young boys, Glikon and Glauco, aged 7 and 9 respectively, got lost in the Amazon rainforest. Their family and search parties looked for them for 3 long weeks, fearing the worst. But then, a miracle happened. A woodcutter found the boys, in questionable condition, but alive. Emergency crews took them to a hospital where they were slowly getting better. But how did they get lost in the dense forest in the first place? Well, according to local reports, they were playing around the forest area and somehow forgot their way back home. Now, it's time for the open discussion. There was this big python in the dense bushes of the Amazon, and it was a bit too big to be normal. The truth was that it was munching on a deer. The python was so hungry that it had a whole deer for lunch in a way that would give you goosebumps. The camera recorded the whole thing. As the python kept swallowing, its belly got bigger and bigger, telling us that the prey was quite a good catch. Finally, after finishing its meal, the python took a nap, feeling full and satisfied. Thank you so much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.